What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Big Cool coming to you from Colossal Sports TV. And I am back with another video. Before I get into the video, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn those notifications on so you won't miss any time I upload content. Now, let's get into the video. The time has come for me to break down and give my prediction of tomorrow night's unification bout between WBA, WBC, Ring Magazine middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez and IBF middleweight champion Daniel Jacobs. This fight is very exciting for me, although I must admit this has been poorly promoted by Eddie Hearn, The Zone, Oscar De La Hoya, and Golden Boy. For a fight of this magnitude, a super fight between two of the top middleweights in the world and arguably a top five pound for pound fighter in Canelo Alvarez and the cash cow in the sport, it has been severely underpromoted, and has really flown under the radar, which is shocking to me. But be as it is, it's fight week. We're one day away from the fight. If you know about it, you know about it. If you don't know, you don't know. But this is why I'm going to put this video out here so maybe I could remind people who may have forgotten about this fight. It's going down tomorrow night. And let's get into it. Canelo Alvarez is a multi-weight champion. You know, won titles at 154, won titles at 160, won a title recently, secondary belt at 168 when he destroyed Rocky Fielding. This guy has gotten better and better each fight, each year. He has an excellent resume. People shit on him and give him a lot of flack. Yes, he, is proven to be a guy who has, tested positive for, performance-enhancing drugs. So you can't absolve him from that. But this guy has fought Floyd Mayweather Jr., Shane Mosley, Arslan Lara, Miguel Cotto, Gennady Golovkin twice. He's getting ready to fight Daniel Jacobs. I mean, he's fought Alfredo Angulo. He's fought, James Kirkland. He's fought a lot of guys, a lot of future Hall of Famers, and a lot of respectable, hard-hitting contenders throughout his career. Also, Austin Trout, a former champion as well. And he only has one loss. One loss officially against Floyd Mayweather Jr. Whether you think he lost the first fight against Gennady Golovkin, the second fight against Gennady Golovkin, lost to Austin Trout or Arslan Lara, that's neither here nor there because that's water under the bridge. Those decisions won't be overturned. But let's talk about him. He is 5'8", really short in stature for a middleweight compared to the guys that he's going to be fighting, like a Daniel Jacobs, who is pretty much 6 feet. Some people list him at 5'11 and a half. Some people list him at 6 feet. I'll give him that extra half inch and go ahead and bump him 6 feet. Demetrius Andrade, who is like 5'11", 6 feet. Gennady Golovkin, who was like 5'10", I believe. Jamal Charlo, 5'11", 6 feet. So he's shorter in height than those guys. He is 5'8". He's going to be giving up a 4-inch reach advantage going into this fight. He has a reach of 70.5 inches. He's going to give up 3.5 inches to Daniel Jacobs, who has a reach of 73.5 inches. All the physical attributes seem to be in the favor of Daniel Jacobs, who's also naturally bigger. He rehydrates up to light heavyweight status, you know what I'm saying? After the weigh-ins, after he refills himself up, eats and get those electrolytes and everything pumped back in him, he rehydrates to a significant size. And although there's a rehydration clause in this fight, he's still gonna be going to ring bigger than Canelo Alvarez. What Canelo Alvarez does exceptionally well, and me watching all his fights or a lot of his fights throughout the years, is that he has exceptional upper body movement. He's able to slip, roll shots while countering you with his own punishing blows. He doesn't take a lot of damage, and that may be surprising to a lot of people who say he is, slow with his foot speed, really doesn't have any foot movement, which is true. He's not the most explosive mover, the most agile, athletic mover, but he makes up with that with the phenomenal and exceptional upper body movement that he has displayed. His ability to slip, roll, and counter is something that, makes his opponents pay. Because while they can hit him, maybe to the body, it's hard to hit him up top. It's hard. Just ask Austin Trout. Ask Gennady Golovkin. Ask Erislandy Lara. Ask all these guys that have been in the ring with him. Only guy that I really seen piece him up like that was Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather is one of the all-time great fighters. Tremendously gifted athletically, hand speed, foot speed, technique, fundamentals, just a high ring IQ. So he's able to do things that other great fighters aren't able to do just because he's an all-time great. But not only does he has excellent upper body movement, he is a tremendous counterpuncher. Look what he did against Alfredo Angulo. He countered his ass to death. And more so, he countered him and walked him down. But he was able to just stand in the pocket and go toe-to-toe, slipping shots, rolling shots, bobbing and weaving, coming up under those wide hooks, those slow punches of Angulo with uppercuts, with body shots, with hooks. You know what I'm saying? He was able to do that to Gennady Golovkin as well, especially in the second fight, because he was criticized for being a runner, in the first fight. They said, oh, well, he ran. Gennady Golovkin wanted the Mexican style, and he didn't give it to him, But in the second fight, he sat down in the middle of the ring, and they exchanged big shots, and he still got the upper hand, in my opinion, more so in the second fight than he did in the first fight, which he elected to move, and I'll talk about that later on in the video. But, his ability to, stand in the pocket, counter you, in close quarters is something that Daniel Jacobs is going to have to be aware of, because Daniel Jacobs is not a very good inside fighter, and that's putting it nicely. Quite honestly, he's pathetic on the inside, when it comes to his offense. He can have some minor success on the inside, but nothing like he will have if he elects to use his reach, use his jab, fight from the outside, and make it a much easier night for himself. Also, Canelo Alvarez has a tremendous chin. He has never been knocked out. He's never been knocked down, to my knowledge. I've seen him hurt against Miguel Cotto's little brother or big brother, whichever one it was, all those years ago. But I have not seen him hurt really since. And he's fought some punchers. He's fought some guys that, have an accumulative type power, and he didn't budge. And that also goes back to the testament of he doesn't really get hit clean. He know how to, roll those shots to where you hit him, but he still take a lot of the effect off. So, that has been beneficial to him in his career. Now, the negatives for Canelo Alvarez is that he's not an exceptional mover. He's not, which means that he could be caught out of position. Go back to fights with Floyd Mayweather Jr. You go back to Erislandy Lara. Although Lara was on his bicycle way too much and wasn't as aggressive as Floyd Mayweather was and sitting down on his shots when he needed to win rounds, he still caused Canelo Alvarez a lot of problems with his movement, his timing, and the way, his foot placement. And Jacobs possesses, some of these qualities that both Floyd Mayweather and Erislandy Lara have. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he does it on the level of those two guys, but he does have the ability to move and get himself out of harm's way with his feet. So that's one of the things that's going to be key for Canelo. He's going to have to be able to keep Daniel Jacobs within reach so he can be effective with his shots, because if not, he's going to be swinging and missing, and that's going to cause him to exert more energy, because we all know swinging and missing exerts more energy than it does when you swing and land and connect on your opponent. So, That's going to be something to look out for too. And also the stamina. While it has gone down, the stamina issues are still there. Because he slows down a little bit as the fight wears on, which is natural because at that point you've been fighting and moving and getting hit to the body, to the head, and using your mind and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's natural to kind of slow down and regain that second win. But that's still an issue that Daniel Jacobs can exploit if he fights a smart fight. Canelo, like I said, he has short arms compared to Daniel Jacobs, so he's going to have to fight in close quarters. He cannot box from the outside against Jacobs unless Jacobs just completely forgets who he is and just has a come apart. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that Canelo should be outboxing Jacobs in this fight. So for him, the lack of foot speed and foot movement is going to be a problem, and the lack of questionable stamina is going to be something that could play a huge factor in this fight as it heads to the second half in the championship rounds. Now let's get to Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs has been in the ring with Sergio Moore twice, Gennady Golovkin, Peter Quillin, Caleb Truex, Ishai Smith, who's a former champion. He's been in there with some solid guys. He's also overcame, bone cancer, a rare bone cancer that briefly had him paralyzed and had doctors telling him that he will, not walk again, let alone fight. But look where he at. He's the miracle man. In his 37 fights, he's 35-2 with 29 knockouts. So the power is evident. He has power. It's not bone-crushing power. It's not Gennady Golovkin type power. But his power is power that you respect, that you will have to be aware of and will have to honor. Because if not, you will be picking yourself up off the canvas or you will be knocked out. Ask Sergio Moore. Ask Peter Quillin, who he jumped on early in that fight back in 2015, got a TKO victory in the first round. Ask Caleb Truex. So his power is to be respected. But other than just the power, he really is an athletic guy. He's capable of fighting out of both the orthodox stance and the southpaw stance. He's a natural orthodox fighter who has good hand speed. He can throw a flurry of punches in a short amount of time, especially if he senses that he has his opponent hurt, which he did against Peter Quillin, which he did against Sergio Moore, and he's done against a lot of other opponents. His confidence level is through the roof. I felt that he beat Gennady Golovkin. A lot of people felt he beat Gennady Golovkin. Even though he didn't get the decision, he gave a great effort of himself. But he's going to have to do more. He won this IBF title over his good friend Sergey Derevchenko, who is a tremendous fighter, who is a tremendous fighter now campaigning at 168. But along with the power, along with the switch hitting ability, he also has boxing skills, has good boxing skills. He has the reach and the height advantage. So for him in this fight, he don't need to he don't need to go to war. He don't need to go to war at all. He needs to fight behind his jab. He needs to keep the fight in the middle of the ring. He needs to push Canelo back. He needs to throw that jab to the sternum, to the body, throw it in different variations. A hard jab, a soft jab, a middle of the speed type jab, just to give him different looks and fire off with those 3, 4, 5 punch combinations that he likes to throw. He also has a very good right uppercut that he throws more so when he has his opponent against the rope or in close quarters. And that takes me to that. Now, while he's not a good inside fighter at all, he does have success because he's able, like Canelo, to slip and roll shots, which opens up his right uppercut, the left and right hook that he likes to throw, and he'll go to the body occasionally. So inside, that's the only way. It's like if it come down to it, he's able to kind of slip, and then he'll use his shoulder, a little veteran tactic use his shoulder in there to kind of, create a little space and kind of use it as a guard as well. And he'd be slipping shots, and he'll come up under with a right uppercut or left or right hooks. So he's going to have to do that when on the inside. But he don't need to give up his height. Canelo's job is to make him fight an unintelligent fight. His job is to make him fight like he's 5'8". And we've seen it plenty of times throughout history where a guy with a significant height advantage and reach advantage, Robert Easter Jr., elects to fight dumb, fight small, crouch over, giving away his height, making him easy to hit with the uppercut, the left and right hook, and just, give the fight away, so to speak. Daniel Jacobs needs to be popping that jab from a distance in the middle of the ring. He needs to use his foot speed, use his foot movement to befuddle Canelo Alvarez, who is confident, who has seen pretty much every style of fighter. He's been in there with future Hall of Famers, all-time greats. So nothing really is going to shock him. But it's Daniel Jacobs' job to implement his game style, his game plan, use his abilities, his physical abilities, and his boxing skills to get the job done, which I believe he can. This is a true close fight. I still favor Canelo, you know what I'm saying, because his experience and his championship pedigree. But with everything being said, man, I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to pick Daniel Jacobs by a split decision. I think this is really his time. I think that he's 100% confident. I think it's authentic. I think it's genuine. And I think that he really has that belief in himself that, look, I've overcome, a rare bone or form of bone cancer. I've, lost a close decision against Gennady Golovkin that I felt I won. I defeated my good friend Sergey Derevchenko when a lot of people didn't think I would, and I think that he's gonna get it. He another question for him before I wrap it up. His chin, he was dropped in the 4th round against Gennady Golovkin, and he was stopped by Dmitry Pirog back in 2006. So the chin questions are still something that has to be entertained. But I'm gonna roll with Daniel Jacobs. I just feel like at this point, 32 years old, finally becoming a real champion, not the WBA secondary champion. I think that he has a new confidence. I think that he has the skill set, the power, everything riding his momentum. As long as he get a fair shake from the judges, I think that he's gonna eke out a split decision victory and become the unified middleweight champion of the world and getting close, one step closer to becoming the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. So that's my prediction. Daniel Jacobs via split decision in a fight that will be competitive, but I think he does enough and gets a fair shake from the judges to become the unified middleweight champion. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts and predictions on this fight. Give me your thoughts on this video. Do you agree or disagree with what I said? Shout out to the movement and everybody that is moving with us. Be sure to check out 3kingsboxing.com for your latest and greatest updated, unfiltered, and unbiased boxing news and information reported the way it should be. Until next time, I am out. Peace.